Lin is an orphan who lost his mother in a tragic car accident and his father due to debts from gambling. On his 18th birthday, an old man unexpectedly breaks into Lin's apartment and drags him into the spiritual world. There he grants Lin access to the war god system. The elder explains that Lin possesses extremely rare spiritual eyes, a gift that allows him to cultivate at the top magic academy in the spiritual world. Moreover, only Lin can see the system, making it feel like a secret cheat code. Quickly grasping the situation, Lin accepts this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Before disappearing, the elder hands Lin a powerful recommendation letter. Shortly after, a teleportation portal appears in front of Lin. When he tries to interact with it, he accidentally absorbs some of its energy. Suddenly, a beautiful girl bursts out of the portal and steps on him. She introduces herself as Zion from the Vermilion Bird sect and thanks him for saving her life. Together, they head into the academy where all the students are gathered for an aptitude test. This test measures their cultivation potential by touching a sacred object called the lustrous divine monolith. Depending on the results, students are placed in classes ranked from 1 to 100. Zion confidently steps up first and easily qualifies for Class 1, the elite class. When Lin's turn comes, he first presents his recommendation letter to instructor Miss Ewing. She is stunned. The letter is from Lu, a legendary immortal master who ascended beyond the level of gods. Meanwhile, numerology instructor Ming Yun loudly predicts that Lin will perform miracles, trying to boost his confidence. However, when Lin finally touches the monolith, the results are shocking. He shows no cultivation level at all. He is declared the worst student ever accepted into Class 1. Disheartened and humiliated, Lin returns to his seat, feeling the scornful glares of the other students. They mock and criticize him, furious that someone weaker than them managed to get into the elite class. One student even challenges him to a duel, but Zion steps in and pulls Lin away before things escalate. Back in his dormitory, Lin turns to the war god system for help. His first quest seems simple: complete a set number of push-ups. As he finishes each quest, his cultivation level steadily rises, reaching the 3rd stage. Encouraged, he eagerly asks the system for his next mission, but is left speechless when it demands 10 billion push-ups. Thinking this is impossible, Lin decides to seek Zion's advice. On his way to her room, he's ambushed by a man who throws several punches at him. Thanks to his sharpened instincts, Lin dodges effortlessly and counters with a surprise attack in the dark. He soon realizes the attacker is Lu Davao, the same student who spoke against him earlier. As Davao uses a talisman to strike, Zion intervenes, placing her sword at the attacker's throat. But before they can react, they discover the real Davao outside, loudly challenging Lin to a proper duel. The imposter lunges at Zion, but Lin bravely shields her, giving Zion the opening to strike back. The attacker barely escapes. The next day, Lin notices that nearly everyone in the academy despises him because of his weak cultivation level. Determined to prove them wrong, he throws himself into his studies, but reality quickly crushes his hopes. During the lectures, Lin struggles to understand the lessons, as most of the teachers either don't show up in their human forms or teach in ways that make no sense. To make matters worse, instructor Miss Ewing turns an entire class into a mobile gaming session, encouraging students to slack off. But the most absurd of all is instructor Minjuan, who simply puts everyone to sleep so he can analyze their dreams afterward. Feeling even more discouraged, Lin's situation worsens when Miss Ewing randomly calls on him to spar with the class monitor, Chung Sai Allen. Zion protests, arguing that Lin's cultivation level is too low for such a match. But the decision stands. Before Lin can react, Zion steps in to fight on his behalf. She attacks Chung with a series of fireballs, but Chung easily deflects them. Lin spots Zion at a disadvantage and steps in to interrupt their fight. He taps into a mysterious power, elevating himself to a realm higher than his current level. Lin goes for a flying punch, but his opponent evades it and traps him with spiritual chains, attempting to use the formation's pressure to overpower him. However, Lin's attack was strategic. He intentionally missed his earlier punch to strike at the formation's weak point. As a result, Lin's cultivation level rises to the 4th stage. Lin immediately requests 130 spiritual stones to complete his next system quest and advance to the 5th stage. But instead, Chen hands him 5,000 spirit stones, since in the spiritual world, they're used like currency. The next day, the war god system alerts Lin about an urgent quest, a special survival competition called the Battle for Freedom. This quest is marked mandatory, meaning Lin cannot refuse it. The system delivers a ridiculous warning. If he fails to rank in the top 50, he'll be transformed into a girl for 1 full year. Panicking at the strange punishment, Lin quickly shifts all his focus toward leveling up. He uses the 5,000 spirit stones given by Chung to cultivate non-stop, eventually pushing himself to the 7th stage. But even that might not be enough. Lin begs the system for more quests or shortcuts. The system gives him a brutal option. Defeat a cultivator at the 9th stage or higher, and he'll gain a massive boost. Lin instantly remembers that Zion is well above the 9th stage. He tries to approach her with a plan to let him win a few fights so he can advance. But every time he tries to ask, he gets flustered and ends up requesting random things, like help acquiring the essence of Mountain Pill, which he needs to learn a powerful martial art, the Mountain Quaking Fist. He also asks Zion for information about the strongest competitors he'll face during the tournament. Later, Lin goes to Chung and awkwardly asks if he can fight him and take it easy. Chung refuses but agrees to share his weakness instead. Desperate and running out of ideas, Lin finally gathers enough courage to ask Zion if he can try a sneak attack on her. But she totally misunderstands and thinks he's confessing his love. The next day, he tries to sneak attack her using a spiritual formation, but by accident, he touches her in the wrong place, and Zion storms off in embarrassment and anger. Even so, as she's walking away, she throws 2 items at him, a vial of essence of Mountain Pill and a dossier containing information on all his major opponents. Back in his room, Lin consumes the essence of Mountain Pill, unaware that its purpose is to cleanse the body of impurities. The effect hits him hard, and he ends up suffering from severe diarrhea that traps him in the bathroom for 13 days. As the competition approaches with just 10 days left, Lin realizes he's in serious trouble. 10 days later, Lin is still stuck in the restroom with only 3% left to finish his body cleanse from the essence of Mountain Pill. But the battle for freedom is starting, and he has no choice but to join. Before the match begins, one of the Academy's elders explains the rules. The more opponents you defeat, the higher your rank. A golden light spell is cast on every student, and it will teleport them out the moment they take too much damage. Lin gets randomly teleported and ends up in the same area as Dabao, who immediately panics seeing how strong Lin has become. Lin calmly walks up to him, breaks his sword, and casually asks if he has toilet paper. Dabao nervously says no. Lin nods and walks away looking for a place to finish his business. He hides in the bushes trying to complete the last 1% of the cleansing. A group of students spots him. To buy time, Lin tricks them into fighting each other and finally finishes his massive dump. Right after that, the system unlocks a new skill for him called Mountain Quaking Fist. Lin tests it immediately and knocks out all 4 students with a single punch each. Later, Dabao finds him again and takes him to a hidden shelter where nearly 300 students are gathered, all begging Lin to gently eliminate them so they don't get seriously hurt. Lin agrees and knocks them all out safely, which boosts his rank by 40,000 places in one shot. As he continues exploring, another cultivator ambushes him, but before the attack lands, a girl steps in and saves him. He recognizes her instantly. It's Lu Kaiyan Wan, also known as the #1 god of killing. She gives him a strange challenge. She'll ask him 100 questions about the mortal world. If he answers correctly, he joins her Lu Club. If he fails, she chops off his head. After finishing the quiz successfully, she allows him to join her Lu Club. As part of their next mission, they head to Black Rock Peak, where Lin plans to complete his system quest and increase his cultivation. At Black Rock Peak, Lin begins training a powerful martial skill known as the Earth Lotus Divine Art. This technique requires him to absorb energy directly from the earth. The system tells him that once mastered, he'll be strong enough to defeat even a spirit-nurturing cultivator. While Lin is cultivating, a man suddenly appears introducing himself as Chen Qin. He says he's been waiting for Lin, then mysteriously disappears. Lin and Kaiyan decide to take a break and spend the night playing mobile games. The next morning, as the sun rises, Kaiyan turns to Lin and asks if they're friends. He says yes, but she accuses him of lying and hiding something. She demands to know why he's been using his powers and what his true intentions are. Lin tries to explain that he's been cultivating the whole time, but Kaiyan doesn't believe him. She begins gathering energy for an attack. The system forces Lin to activate his new martial art to defend himself. Kaiyan summons her sword and strikes. Just before she lands the blow, she senses that Lin's cultivation has increased dramatically overnight. She pulls back her attack and asks how he improved so quickly. Lin hesitates but decides to tell her the truth. He reveals the existence of the War God system. Kaiyan doesn't believe it. To prove it, he shows her the essence of Mountain Pill and warns her that it causes body cleansing. To test if he's telling the truth, she swallows the pill. Her body immediately starts reacting to its effects. Seeing her discomfort, Lin uses his new martial art technique to relieve her pain and settle the reaction. Impressed by his skill, Kyan finally believes him. Before leaving, she gives him her personal headband. It's a special item that offers protection against spirit-nurturing level cultivators. After parting ways with Kyan, Lin goes looking for Zion. He finds her mid-battle fighting Ijai and his group. Zion reveals the truth. Ijai is the one who disguised himself as Dabao and tried to ambush Lin. He also put a bounty on Lin's head to get him eliminated. Lin wastes no time. He uses his newly mastered mountain quaking fist to attack. With a single punch, he knocks out every member of Ijai's group. His cultivation immediately jumps to the 9th stage. Meanwhile, Chen is engaged in a battle of his own. He's facing Wang Chuanjin, the reigning champion from last year. Wang is not just powerful, he's deadly. He announces that if Chen refuses to fight, he'll kill every disciple present. Chen tries to resist, but Wang is too strong. He starts using advanced lightning skills, striking the battlefield wildly. One lightning bolt heads straight for Lin. But before it hits, Chen steps in and stops it with just one finger. He glances at Lin and asks if he's learned that move yet. Then he vanishes without another word. The system informs Lin that to fulfill the quest, he must defeat Wang and make it into the top 50. Knowing how dangerous the final battle will be, Lin decides to eliminate Zion from the competition. He doesn't want them to get hurt. With them safely out of the way, he steps up and calls out Wang. Wang appears wielding the golden dragon spear and unleashes lightning with every strike. Lin uses his mountain quaking fist, but it has no effect. Lin takes a gamble. He mimics Chen's technique, the heavenly splitting finger. Channeling all his energy into one move, the attack pierces through his defense and knocks him out cold. Lin collapses from exhaustion and everything fades to black. 10 days later, Lin wakes up in the academy. He immediately notices a shift in how people treat him. The same students who mocked him now look at him with awe and respect. He's no longer the weakest. Now they see him as the strongest. A month after the competition, Lin, Zion, and Chen are officially named divine messengers of the spiritual world. Their mission is to seal the demonic pagoda and eliminate the demon king hiding in the mortal world. Lin and his group set out on their mission to the mortal world. Upon arrival, they meet Tain Lingling, a member of the Alliance of Cultivation, who informs them that she'll be assisting with their task. She takes them aboard her aircraft to the Alliance headquarters, where they're introduced to the President Yuan. One of the members, Tian Shigu, informs Lin and his group that the mission has already been completed. They've captured the demon god and are now only fighting the disciples of the demon cult. Therefore, their help isn't needed, not only because they're late, but also because they're weak. Suddenly, an alarm rings out, and everyone is informed that the Blood Clan's warriors have joined forces with the demon cult. Tian Shigu again asks them to leave, but Lin challenges him to a fight. He proposes that if he wins, they must allow them to join the battle. Instead of her father, Tian Lingling attacks Lin and begins beating him. After taking several hits, Lin starts to block her attacks. He then uses his ultimate speed to charge toward Tian Shigu and unleashes the illusion technique Crybaby, making Tian Shigu cry. Yuan, the president, steps in front of Tian Shigu and challenges him to a duel. She unleashes a powerful attack, forcing Lin to shield Tian Lingling from the blast. In retaliation, Lin activates his divine almighty technique, overwhelming Yuan assault and ultimately defeating her. Accepting her defeat, Yuan concedes and agrees to let them participate in the mission. She assigns Lin and Tian Lingling to investigate the enemy together. Lin and Tian Lingling teleport to the ghost village where strange mist covers the area. Lingling warns him the mist is poisonous. Lin activates his divine eyes and sees hidden enemies inside. He detoxifies the poison and enters the mist alone. Inside, he uses his illusion technique and makes every hidden enemy cry. But he's badly outnumbered. He requests reinforcements from headquarters. Zion and Chen arrive to help, but contact with headquarters is suddenly lost. They realize the enemies have stopped crying. A coordinated attack begins. One of the blood gods grabs Lin and flies into the sky. She chokes him, then hurls his body down. Zion tries to catch him, but a demon god strikes Lin mid-air with lightning. Tian Lingling and Chen hold off the demon god while Zion rushes toward the fallen Lin. But another blood god appears and attacks her with sound waves. She collapses as the creature grabs Lin again and tries to bite his neck. Unconscious Lin's body suddenly reacts. He bursts free from the enemy's grip and starts falling through the air. A portal opens beneath him, and mysterious hands pull him in. Inside the portal, the War God system activates. It tells Lin to use the ring given to him by Kyan Wan. He uses the ring, Seconds later, Cayenne herself appears, pulls him from the portal, and defeats the enemies with ease. As the dust settles, a strange, feathered girl appears in front of the group. Her presence is mysterious and her power unknown. Watch the next video. See you on the next one.